Hey, I'm Sarah with SiteSync. I'm here at ProveIt 2026. And I'm so excited to share with you how we can add IIoT devices into Ignition and from there into our UNS or to wherever our end users need to make actionable decisions off of them. So to get started, here at ProveIt, we use a virtual factory. All of the vendors are connecting to a unified namespace where we can go and connect to the same data and build applications and find insights. Our application is, or our virtual factory is Enterprise B. Enterprise B is 3 different sites that are bottling manufacturers, and they all come together to bring their data into the UNS. So the ask when you come in and build an application for ProveIt is you come in and take a look at the data, see something that's missing, and find a cool insight or an application to help make actionable decisions. So something that we did is we took a look at the floor and we looked at the data, and we found a lot of interesting data. You know, there was VATs and pasteurization and all this good stuff going into the bottling process. But something we noticed that was not being monitored is the tanks in the chemical room. Chemical room is full of data that is liquid that is used for cleaning. It's cleaning solvents. It's for making sure that our plant is clean and ready to go for the next line. This is something that's not monitored today because it's something that can be monitored manually. Someone is going through with a clipboard and they're looking at the level and they're determining, taking the data from that clipboard, putting it into a computer, and it goes off to our inventory manager, Maria. And that works fine, but when it's a manual process, it can be left to the side. It can be pushed off if we're really busy, someone is sick, and it's something that can be forgotten or not collected, which for Maria is not a good thing because if you don't have that data, you don't have that insight, you might be behind on ordering, you have a blind spot into what you are trying to manage. And so with SiteSync, we decided to install level sensors to be able to take a measurement once a day, every day, same time, and get just an overall look at what the level is and be able to alert and alarm to Maria so that she can be informed what's going on with her process. Maria is a really busy lady. She's got to take care of the inventory for an entire bottling manufacturer. Actually, 3 of them. There's 3 in this site. And so if their site is mature enough, we can also integrate through Ignition to send off purchase orders and automate the ordering of these chemicals as well. And so that is the initial use case, and I'm going to walk you through how we can do that. So in our stack, we are using LoRaWAN sensors. It is an IoT device that can take measurements for supplemental data about your process. And so in this case, the chemical solvent level is really important, but it's not important enough or important to the level of the other VATs, such as pasteurization and mixing. So like our product is being monitored every single second by wired instrumentation. It's going back to a PLC. We know exactly what that level is going to be. But for something like chemical solvent, we're checking it once a week or so. It's not as important or not important enough to install traditional instrumentation. It's pricey and someone can just check it with a clipboard, right? But again, we're left blind if something goes wrong, and something always goes wrong. So in our solution, we're installing these LoRa sensors. They are going back to an Ignition gateway. We love Ignition because it's nice and flexible. I can do it on-prem, in the cloud, however we need to collect that data. The data gets contexted through SiteSync. SiteSync is a third-party module that helps onboard, context, and troubleshoot any device ads to help you collect more data about your site, push it into Ignition and your UNS from there. So for this application, we go through, we add a couple sensors, we add a LoRaWAN gateway, push it off to an existing Ignition gateway, and from there, we're able to deliver those insights to Maria and automate a part of her day, which leaves us with a happy inventory manager. So overall, what's this going to cost? The LoRaWAN gateway, somewhere between $500 to $1,500, depending on how industrial explosion-proof we need it to be. The sensor itself is something like $500, depending on, again, the industrial rating. And that's all you need. You just put those 2 together, send it off to your SiteSync Ignition module, and you have a solution to monitor something that needs to be monitored, and we can have the same measurement every single day, which is pretty cool. So from there, On my screen, I have an idea or a perspective screen. This is built-in ignition, showing the overall solution for the chemical solvent monitoring. We are monitoring the temperature of that solvent, so it's in spec. We are monitoring the input and output valve, so when we go and fill it, we want to make sure that we don't also have the output, so we're spilling chemical on the floor, which is something that has happened. We had an end user who went through, they were doing whiskey, and they had their in and their out open, which was unfortunate because they meant spilling whiskey on the floor, which is a terrible use of whiskey in my opinion. So I want to give you a quick example of how these sensors can work. Right here on my demo case, I have a valve position sensor. It is a manual valve position sensor. And so all it does is on change reports the position of what my valve is open or closed. And we'll see it update on the HMI screen as well. This sensor is about $600, and it's a really nice way to retrofit existing manual valves without going through and putting an automated package on all of them, which can be really expensive. So it's a nice solution to quickly see what's going on in my site, collect more data, and with more data, we have more insights, we have more actions that can be taken, and we have happier people on our site. So that is a quick example of how the LoRaWAN sensors work in our solution. I want to show you how easy it can be to onboard one of these sensors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sensor. It is another LoRaWAN sensor. It is a amperage sensor. It clips on to wires and it monitors and takes back the amperage every 30 seconds or so. What I'm going to do to onboard it into my Ignition server is I'm going to open my Ignition Perspective app with SiteSync loaded on it. I'm going to scan this QR code. This QR code has all the encryption, all the keys you could need, any data about what it needs to onboard to make onboarding IoT devices into your site as easy as adding a Ring doorbell to your home automation network. So with the Ignition Perspective app, I am going to scan the QR code real quick. And what's going to happen is it's going to create a UDT in my Ignition tag provider over on this screen. A UDT is a user-defined type. It's kind of like a class. It goes through and says, hey, here's all the attributes that matter about my process. And you can also do automations, calculations. Once the data is contexted in a UDT in Ignition, the possibilities are endless. And we'll go through that a little bit more in a second. So I go through, I scan the QR code. It has all the data that I need it to have to get this guy on my network. I'm going to quickly do a demo. I'm going to say where it needs to go. So giving it that context of where is this installed on my site, which site is it? I can add coordinates if I would like. I can add picture and a notes descriptions, and that can be all taken off into other systems. So perhaps we have some end users using like a Viva Pi, going through and putting that context all the way into Pi is really helpful. So I've added this device. We should see it there in our tag provider, and it's ready to go. Once we are using SiriusLink transmission to push data into the UNS. So SiriusLink transmission will pick this up as a device, it will send it off to our UNS, and from there, you install this device and it's ready to go. You are getting data from your site at a pretty easy and affordable price point, which is pretty fun. And yeah, so that is the SiteSync Ignition module. It's just there for easy onboarding, quick troubleshooting, and contexting that data so that you can use it and send it off to our end users. So typically we see with customers we see they have one use case like this chemical storage monitoring. And once the infrastructure is in place, infrastructure meaning that LoRaWAN gateway that we added to get those measurements back, they find other applications that they would like to monitor. There's a lot of data being generated but not captured on the site floor. And so infrastructure is in place, that is now time for enablement. So we can come in and monitor other things. A lot of people use LoRaWAN for preventative maintenance as well. And so an example of that would be right here, we have this vibration sensor. It's attached to this motor. This vibration sensor can help catch any bearing faults, any anomalies, and send that data off to take action for the end user who is in charge. So in this case, our maintenance team. They would come through and get an alert for something they wouldn't know. This allows our maintenance team to be proactive rather than reactive. Also, in using this through Ignition, we're able to make alarms with set points that really are tailored to our use case, and take the actions off of that. So we're going to turn on this little tiny motor attached to this vibration sensor. And if you notice on our screen, or we're going to keep an eye on this screen over here, on our floor, our site floor, we will see an alert or an alarm go off when it says, hey, maybe my motor is not operating at its peak potential. As you can see here, this is not a well-functioning motor. It is pretty upset. I would be scared if I saw this in real life. But what the sensor does is it takes little bitty measurements every couple of seconds, every minute. It's configurable, and it will report back either on threshold change, so set point on the device and say, hey, something looks really wrong, or it can take an average of those measurements and send it back every hour, every day, just to get an idea of what's going on in my site. This, again, is just a nice, easy way. Oh, look, it is alerting. So we have something very wrong with this motor. And the cool thing with using Ignition is it's really easy to integrate with other platforms downstream. So in this site, our team is using MaintenX, our maintenance team. And I just got a buzz on my phone. It is the MaintenX app. We sent an alert we sent all the measurements off to MaintenX so they can go and monitor this device, and there are automated workflows and work orders that get created. In this case, I just got an alert that says, hey, something's wrong with this specific motor. And if you look at the screen over here, we see that, hey, there's a preventative maintenance work order that's been created. It's been assigned to myself and to my partner in crime, Nick, to take a look at this motor and see what's going on with it. And it's that easy. You onboard the device, it's ready to go, and we can get actionable insights off of this data to the people who need it. And really, at the end of the day, that's what the UNS, that is what collecting this data is all about, because I can collect this data all day, but if I can't get it in front of the people who can take actions off of it, it's really just more zeros and ones in a database. Finally, I want to click on the Analytics tab. So I'm a data scientist, and I got into this game because I wanted to make cool dashboards and pipelines, machine learning, to be able to help people get more value out of their data. But as I got into the industrial space, specifically this, the data was all over the place. It's a whole bunch of different systems, and as a data scientist, I spent a lot of my time collecting this kind of trying to format it, and it's really hard to do machine learning, apply AI, if you don't have context on this data. So through Ignition, we're able to apply that context, which is nice. Can you click in Analytics? Apply context and understand where exactly in my plant this is, what's going on. It has a nice unit of measure, all of that good stuff, which allows us to apply AI, use it in other applications, and do our things. I'm going to click on the Analytics tab. So we're going to go that guy. Yeah, and double click on me. That's me. I'm Sarah. And we're going to click through this real quick. So this is the data science hierarchy of needs. What this is a lot of people see data science and see AI. They're like, hey, we can get some really cool actionable insights, which is true, with a caveat, with an asterisk. You need to have consistent data. You need to know where it's coming from. You need context on it. And so if you're going to have a data science team, if you're going to have an AI practice, you need to have some base foundations. And this is based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which says we can't reach self-actualization, or in the data science world, the cool AI and machine learning, unless we have the base needs met. So we're going to click through the bottom right here, but basically Ignition allows us, and SiteSync allows us to collect that data. We're able to move and store it, meaning put it into UDTs, normalize it, context it. We're going to keep going. We're able to label it and send it off to the people who need it the most. With that context and being able to get these edge measurements from your site, you're able to come through and have more insights about your site and give power to the people who need to collect that data, which is really cool. So yeah. I think that's it. That is SiteSync at ProveIt 2026, and thanks for spending time with me.